Hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This is Michael, KE4EST, and I'm back here to show you what I've done with this Heathkit IO-17 Indy Oscar 17. Okay, let's see. You can see I've got it going here, and I've cleaned the face up. I kind of got the light off of it. Got a lot of light back here, but got the light off of it. I still got to put a couple screws in here. I took out the green filter. I think I kind of like it better that way. But we got all kinds of, I call them shadows. But I can just put it on the face now. Clean this face up. There's one little blemish here. Or the paint's come off. Somebody's hit it or something at one time. But other than that, the face cleaned up real good. I pulled it completely off. Took all this off. Took all the knobs off. Took the nuts off. Took all this off. Completely pulled the plate off. And washed it really good. And worked on it with some, like Dawn soap's what I used. And a good rag and just a lot of elbow grease and cleaned it up. You know, because you gotta be careful sometimes to pull off this, lettering and stuff, but it worked out really good. And then I hit it with some car wax and put it back together. All the knobs, you can see the little white, hopefully you can see those little white things, indicators where, where we're at here. Like you can see it probably really good there. They did good. They didn't come off because I threw these in the ultrasonic cleaner and run it a few times. And what I do with that, I had somebody ask me, I just take, it's like a little cheap jewelry cleaner thing. I don't know how much it was, like $20 or something you can buy at your favorite online store. It's the second one I had. The other one I had for a lot of years, and it finally quit. Well, it worked, but I think it got water in it or something. I don't know. Somehow, accidentally, it was aggravating to get to work. But this one, I've had it for a year or two now, and it's maybe 2 years. But I should have it over here to show you. But it's just a little, look it up, ultrasonic cleaner. And they're sold for cleaning jewelry or whatever. You can get different sizes of them, but this is a little small thing, about maybe big as this right here. The lid pops up on the top. And it's not fully, waterproof. Some of them are, but this one I'll get the water sink, run where it's hot water. Shut it off, stick it over in the stream, then turn the sink back on and fill it up, And then I'll put some Dawn dish soap in it. Kind of stir it up a little bit. And not really, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't, but the ultrasonic vibrations will take care of that. Drop your stuff in it and run it for about 5 minutes. And then run it another 5 minutes or whatever the timer is set for. Let's see, this one is 8 minutes, I think, maximum on it. So I'll run it 2 or 3 cycles. Take it out, rinse it off underwater, and then dry it immediately. Because sometimes have like these behind these knobs is aluminum, cast aluminum. But some of them's got steel and whatever, so you don't want to get rusty. And if you want to try to clean up some other parts, it's metal, or sometimes I'll throw them in there, but take it out immediately and dry it up real good. And that's how I do it. But there you go. So I spent too much time talking about that. So anyway, so you can see it running there. We'll fire it back up here in a minute. Let me shut it off. And if I don't trip over a wire here, unplug it. And right now I've got it plugged straight into the wall over there. I don't have it hooked up to the isolation transformer or anything right now. I suggest you always do that, but I did it first. But now it's just, I've got it all ready to go, and I wanted to verify that, just take it, plug it in and go with it. Okay, I gotta be careful. The caps on this one do drain pretty good, I've noticed, but let me bring it around and start showing you some stuff. Get some light on it here. Of course, I went through and cleaned all these potentiometers and everything. Now this here, you see this dented up here? I'll go ahead and tell you that. It's something to be careful. I had this thing turned up like, you know, on its, cord's gonna get in my way. Turned up like this so I could get to the bottom and stuff. After I had mostly, you know, got it going and doing some checks and testing some things. And I had this back in, I had it this completely taken out, you know, laid over to the side because I didn't want to break it. Well, I had this slid back in, and this over here wasn't tightened up all the way. Just kind of stuck there just to do some preliminary testing with it. And I had forgot this wasn't tight, so I had it up, and guess what this did? Imagine if this had been up, this goes flop, you know, bang, hits back in here, dents it up, but good thing it didn't damage the CRT or anything. But so yeah, I learned from my mistakes. Don't, if you're going to test it and whatever, make sure you're careful what you're doing. I mean, it's still functional and everything, but it looks a little ratty now. Anyway, I've replaced these two electrolytic capacitors here. Obviously, well, this one electrolytic and this one here was, let's see, I got so much stuff out here. Now, this one was on the back, but it was one of these. I've got it all still laying here. Let's see. I don't remember which one was there now. I think this one was one of these here. And this one might have been the one that was here. I know this spray here was on the other side in the back, across there, but anyway, replaced those, clean, you know, as I went, it's starting to get dust on it again here. I went and cleaned this board really good. And pulled out, checked the tubes, all that, checked every resistor, and all these, you know, texted out really close. The ones that didn't, I replaced them, but most of the resistors, even some of them, there's a couple of roundies in here, and it's a mixture of roundies and Allen Bradley style, but I replaced the bad ones. And let's see. Yeah, this was, I guess this one was the one that was here. Got a whole bunch of them over here. All the stuff that these are those two real high voltage ones that was back there. This one, I guess, was on the other side over there. But replaced that, replaced this one back here. And then let's see. These two, I know I failed to mention in the video, the first video, but I think I went back in and posted and added a little message. But these are, you know, disc capacitors, and they probably was fine. In fact, I guess I could test them, but I went ahead and replaced these with safety capacitors so they cross the line, these XY rated capacitors. So that's took care of there. And then let's see, let's turn it. You can see kind of down through all the wires. These are the two high voltage, or the negative high voltage for the CRT. And you can see what I replaced them with there. With those. And that was there. And I tested this on a Carlson tester, and it was testing bad. And then, because it's rated up 1200 volts. And then there, you know, there's the few out there that says, "Oh, that doesn't work. Those testers are stupid. It needs more voltage." You know, if they really think about the theory and how it worked, and see how things work, they see that, you know, does it have to have, in this case, high voltage. But so I took it and put it on my 600 volt tester, the Heathkit, you know, capacitor checker, and it was showing bad at 25 volts, and just sit there for a long time for it. Finally, I started to open. So if I really want to try to reform this thing back up to 1200 volts, I don't know if that would even happen. So those definitely got changed. So now let's see, and then I say here's what I did. I had it up like this right here. I'm going to get to these electrolytics here in a minute. Everybody's going, what is that? But anyway, I replaced this resistor here. This resistor here. This is more like a more, I'm not sure if that's a metal film or what that is. I almost think that's just a carbon. Maybe it's a carbon film. No, I know it's not a metal film. I meant carbon film, but I had it in a drawer that said carbon only, but it kind of looks like carbon film, don't it? But anyway, I'd replace that one, that one. This 12K was reading like 11.9K or something like that, so I mean, can I replace, let's see, no I didn't. And then the diodes checked out okay. So what I did here, you can see this, let's see, change my lighting here. It's just the noise from the springs on the light there. Each of these cans here, they're the same can. They got 4 capacitors in them. You know, rolled these capacitors. And I think I've mentioned before, I'm not real big on restuffing cans. I like to leave the cans on there, though, for looks. I really prefer to leave the cans for looks. You know, cut everything off on the bottom like this is cut off. I'll leave it there for looks. But I didn't really have enough room to properly, underneath, put these capacitors like I wanted to. So I thought about it for a while, and I looked at it, and I drew out some stuff, and I said, you know, I think I can make it work. I can put those, because, you know, I got 2 smaller ones and 2 big ones. I can line them up under here, rewire some of this, move some of this around. I can make it work. Yeah, I can make that work. No big deal. Then I thought about, and you see I still need to put a screw right there and that, but I've got put these little standoffs here and mounted these capacitors on just some cheap, you know, perf board, just to kind of cut it, shaped it around there and stuck it on there. So I thought maybe if somebody's wondering, can you do that? Or what can I do? Or what I really want to do is design up a circuit board. You know, you see I make my own circuit boards. And make a circuit board, it'd look really neat. Maybe make it, you know, rectangular one that sets in here in this whole area instead of 2 separate things. Where the capacitors maybe line up a little prettier and, you know, wired up that way. But if somebody says, man, I don't have all that stuff, I don't know how to make a circuit board, and I sure don't want to send off to a circuit board house just for that, you know, and pay, because it use a minimum order of 10 boards and all that. What could I do that? And, you know, if you don't want to restuff one of these things. So, yeah, you can do that. Just make sure everything underneath ain't touching like it's, you know, whatever, and just point to point, just like the rest of it. And go with it. So that's what I did. And I think that's about it, except for cleaning everything up. The only thing I really need to do is, I've got these, working on painting the case for it, but the neon lamp here. Oh, we'll get the camera a little bit too low, don't I? This has a neon lamp in it. Let's see if I can just, you know, resistors in the way. And one of the pins, like they always seem to do at some point, you know, 8 out of 10 of these things I go through, I don't care how careful I am, or somebody in the past wasn't very careful, or so they're just brittle or something, you know, because I know to be really careful with these things, because those leads will just break off so easy right at the bulb. And one of them has broke off, it's hanging here. And sometimes, you've seen in the past, I'll replace these with a little diode and a resistor in there, if this is, you know, low voltage or something, and put a LED in it. This one, I don't know if you can see, but this is coming right off the on and off switch here, 120 volts. So I still could do that. You know, it wouldn't be that much to add a little diode here to rectify the voltage and the resistor and all that. And use like a Zener diode to drop the voltage down, you know, to make this LED, you know, put an LED in here. But I'm going to put a neon lamp back in it, I think. I've got some over there, and I just started shooting this video and realized, oh crap, I forgot to do that, but no big deal. I'll just go on with it. I've done that a lot of times, I'll be 20 minutes into a video and just stop and look at something, and just talking away and go, crap. And I'll just, nope, I don't like it. and I'll stop, redo something, whatever, and sometimes redo the whole video from scratch. So, but anyway, so that's what I did, and it fired right up. It took me a little time to get this, adjusted. And be careful if you do that. Turn it off, unplug it, loosen the screws up back here that's holding the CRT, and turn it so you get that line lined up just right. Like I said, I still got to put a screw back in here. But I mean, that's it. It fired right up. I had one thing at first. What was it? Didn't fire up? Oh, I couldn't get it to work, and I had, you might see some boogering here. I had this right here wasn't soldered in all the way. This is supposed to be shorted here. And I took out the old ones, and they was just coming across, making the short with one of the leads. And I wasn't thinking, I just stuck them in there and soldered. Well, this in here ain't going nowhere. Not going to ground, not going to nothing. So it was giving me this weird way it was acting, and almost, doing that's going to put too much, on it. So I thought, what? It's working, but it's acting strange, and well, that's what that was. But there's not a whole lot to line up in this thing either. There's a stigmatism control on the back, and there's an adjustment here for if you put it on the ×10, if you want to adjust it. And, I can have another video and show you that if you're interested, but it's not that big a deal to do. And I have to adjust that, but let's take it and set it back here. Let's plug it back in, turn it back on, and let's hook some signal up to it and see what she does. I can move that over. Look at that line. It's so pencil thin too. Really nice line. Alright, let's hook to my signal generator. So let's I've got it set. It's way up there. Whoop. Pardon the camera shake. That's what I'll be using up there. So let's turn it on. Give it a little gain. That is set for 100 kilohertz. Position a little bit. I can't see upside down. I want to mess the focus up. Horizontal gain. Alright. And that is 1 volt. 1 volt is what I'm sending it. So let's do 1 megahertz. Let's see if we can. Yeah. Now, what is that weirdness going on there? You see that? What is that weirdness? What in the world is that? I think I'm overdriving it. Let's go. 200 millivolts. Give it a little more vertical gain. Yeah, though we're driving it. Alright. There's 1 megahertz, 200 millivolts. Let's go to 200 millivolts. Let's go frequency 2 megacycles. Not bad. Not bad. Let's go 4 megacycles. Let's see if we can do that. Oh, there it is. That's pretty good for this scope. 4 megahertz. Let's go 5 megahertz. Come on. Barely, but it's there. It's starting. I'm getting that fuzzy in the background there where it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know if we go much higher than that. Let's just jump to, let's just go to 6. Alright. Hmm. 7. Well, this ain't gonna do 7, is it? Let's give it 500 millivolts. Oh, just can't get it to lock. Go back to 1. 100 millivolts. Let's go back to 500 millivolts and then frequency 1 megahertz. Yep, there we go. There we go. A little ghosting in there. It's light. It's a light down on purpose there. But there you go. It works pretty well. Let's try one more thing. Let's see if it'll look at. Let's turn on. Let's turn on 400 hertz tone. Let's turn it up pretty good. See that's in there now. I should be able to bring this down somewhere here and find it. Yep, there it is. There's the modulation. Maybe I need to go a little lower. Let's try. Let's go back to 100 kilohertz. So you can see the modulation. And then we go back up. Maybe there. Let's turn that modulation off. Off. Go off. There we go. I'll go back. $100 kilohertz. 100 kilocycles right there. 500 millivolts. No modulation now. So this has been pretty neat. I like this little scope. Real easy to work on. Like I said, I found that, I showed you in the first video. Found a schematic, but the only manual I could find is one they want you to pay for. So I'll keep looking maybe, but wouldn't mind coming across another one of these. Easy to work on. Parts are, you can get, as long as you don't burn a transformer or something up. But the tube, the CRT tube is, I've not really looked it up and see how hard it is to find one of those, but other than that, it works pretty good. I should probably feed 2 signals into it and try liaison patterns, but yeah. There you go. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and both videos. Enjoyed watching this IO-17 come back to life and clean up and get some light back on it. Oh no, it was too much light. But anyway, until the next video, this is Michael, KE4EST 73.